Welcome everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is just some more motivation for those who are in similar situations like I am, paycheck to paycheck, getting out of debt, wanting to do more with your life, wanting to move forward, just feeling stuck, and just wanted to do more with your life, and there's so many different ways. I've made other videos on specific topics. Today's more like a general video and just keeping yourself motivated to move forward, especially when stuff doesn't go the way you want to. The unexpected comes up, rough days, not feeling well, things like that. Happens to everybody, happens to me. I have Crohn's disease and sleep apnea and anxiety issues, and I have my own health issues, physical and mental health issues to deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes I feel good, sometimes I don't feel like doing anything. But you need to try to keep your mind in the right mindset to move forward, especially nowadays. There's all this craziness in the world. Everything's changing, and people don't like our current administration. Some do, some don't. They're trying to undermine it. All this nuttiness and insane stuff that's going on, which is just another form of change that's going on. Just like in your own lives, if you want change, you have to take action to do it, and it's usually very uncomfortable and painful. I don't mean like a physical pain, but I mean painful, like the uncomfortableness, of getting out of your comfort zone, not doing what you've always been doing, not just be like just going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, and just, I get it, because it happens to me all the time. I live this. Oh, my camera's falling. Hang on. There we go. I live this every day, and it takes time to get out of it, but you just have to keep motivating yourself to do it. Many different ways, like I've talked about in other videos, different ways to motivate yourself, different things you can do to inspire yourself. No matter the situation that you're in, you just have to do stuff. In my case, I use myself as an example. I use biblical and stoic principles. I try to, and I combine those sometimes, because they do complement each other in order to help myself move forward. Now, you can use one or the other of those. You can use both of those. I use both, like I said, because they work together very well. Just continuously educate yourself. Learn, but you can't. Anybody can learn. Never say you can't. If you say you can't, guess what? You won't, and you will stay where you are. You stay stuck and miserable and complaining. Why me? I don't have enough money. I can't do this. I can't afford this. I can't. You keep saying I can't. And guess what? You won't. Instead of saying I can't, say how can I? To yourself. You're not talking to anybody else. It's nobody else's business but yours. It's not their journey. It's your journey. Everyone's journey is different. So that's where it starts. You just start changing the way you think about yourself. What you say to yourself. You don't have to say anything. Like I said, don't say anything to anybody. You just keep your mouth shut and listen and just educate yourself. I use, the University of YouTube. Hang on, something on my screen. There we go. University of YouTube. I educate myself. Books on things that you like, how to do businesses, how to invest properly. Like I said, there's tons of free information out there. Now, with all the AI technology, it's just that. It's just technology. It can be used for bad. It can be used for good. I choose to use it for good. I educate myself with it. I have a question. As an example, I do a lot of chatting, whatever you want to call it, with like ChatGPT. There's all kinds of different, there's Grok, and there's all different kinds of AIs. But for me, this one works the best because it does actually build a profile of you. So it can build upon other stuff that you're talking about, and it'll pull from it, and it'll help you with your thought process. It takes the thoughts that I have in my head and ideas, and it helps me put them into words that make sense. Doesn't always work out that way, but that's why you have to read what you do, and then you can edit it and do things. I create business plans on here. I do all kinds of stuff. Just have a question about something, just ask, and poof, within seconds you have an answer. You don't like the answer, well, sometimes people don't like the answer, even though the answer might be the truth. But like I said, you have to keep educating yourself. There's many different ways of educating yourself. Reading. Some people like to journal. Some people like to write things. If that's for you, that's what you do. You write things down. Some people combine things. They read stuff and they journal. I tend to read stuff. If it's online, offline. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of researching. I create things, different kinds of business plans or life journey plans and things like that. But all of this is great and good to start with, educating yourself. But then the most important thing you need to do is to put action behind this knowledge that you're gaining, and wisdom, especially as you get older. You get the wisdom part as you get older. When you're younger, you're smart, intelligent, but not very wise because you don't have that life experience. I'm almost 60 years old now, and I'm just redoing things to fit me and what I would like to do. It's never too late to restart. Hit the restart button and just start doing things over to help you. It's rough in the beginning. Some days are rougher than others. I have those days where I just don't feel like doing nothing. I feel miserable. I just but I got to get myself out of it. I felt that way this morning. And you just have to that's what made me want to make this video, to just express and try to help other people who are going through similar journeys, similar situations. You just keep going, put action. My action right now is making this video. As I said many times before, this stuff is not my comfort zone. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting more used to it and doing it. I haven't been very consistent with it, but working on it. As long as you're doing something to move forward that helps you. And that helping you is something you have to find for yourself. No one could tell you that, this is what you should do. And you're just like, no, it's not me. No, doesn't feel right. Just because someone else is doing it doesn't mean I have to do it. You have to do stuff that works for you and blends in with what you want to do with your life. I could keep saying there's many different ways of doing it. Bottom line is educate yourself. Reading, writing. Like I said, I use the University of YouTube all the time. I use the AI technology to help me out. You can create a full business through the technology we have now, the AI stuff, just with a phone and a tablet. That's what I have sitting in front of me. My phone's sitting on top of my tablet, actually. That's all. Even with just a phone, you could start. And you just start building upon one day at a time. Try and be consistent and persistent with what you do. And just do action. Take action. Doesn't matter what little action it is, as long as it's something. You're taking that knowledge, that you're gaining and educating yourself, and you're applying it to help yourself to move forward in life. So this is more like a little recap, because I've made a video in a little while, what we're doing, what I'm doing. I have some bumps in the road now that I'm trying to get through, and that's what they are. They're bumps in the road. You can't get through them. You can't get beyond them. You want to get to a good place, but you can't get to that good place until you go through all the stuff in the middle. You're starting here, you're ending, you have your end point, but what about all the stuff in the middle? People forget about that. And when they start going through that, and they start hitting these bumps and stuff, they're like, whoa, I can't do this, I can't. No, you can. Because if you don't do it, a month, 2 months, 6 months down the road, you're like, I should have done that. You have the shoulda, woulda, couldas. They don't mean anything because it's in the past. So you just take little steps. The action steps are up to you. What works for you? Like I said, I use biblical and Stoic principles to help me move forward. Those who are believers, use your biblical principles and stuff. Lean on God. Those who are not believers, use the Stoic side. Use the Stoic principles. Look them up. Educate yourself. Like I said, I personally just do them both. They do complement each other. But you have to do what works for you. And just start to move forward little by little. So, once again, I hope this makes sense to people. Hopefully you watch the whole video instead of 30 seconds of it, which, you can't really get much out of 30 seconds of a video. Watch the whole thing. Hopefully you subscribe to my channel, which helps both of us. Hit the like button. That helps a lot too. Helps with the algorithm and all that stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video.